Thank you so much for coming here today. I'm really excited to just talk with you. We haven't talked in a little bit, so that's going to be so much fun. I always just like love being in your presence. You have such good energy. And I want everyone to get a little bit of an insight today on what your experience was like going through the new sexy. We went through the January, February round, and I'm really excited for them to get to know you a little bit and hear what your transformation was like. So this is Elisheva, everyone. Can you tell us a little bit about just basic bits about yourself? Where are you from? What do you do? How many kids do you have? That kind of thing.
Okay, so my name is Elisheva. I am a mom to three kids. I live in Houston, Texas, and my husband and I run a construction company and a real estate company, which keeps us very busy. That's about it.
Amazing. Amazing. Great. So we've known each other for a long time, which I think is pretty cool. Then I just remember way back in the day, like in Spot. So when you reached out to me, I was so excited to have the potential to work with you, to talk with you. And I would love for people to hear a little bit about what that process was like for you before you decided to sign up for the new sexy. Like, where were you at in your life emotionally, physically, all of that? Can you paint a little bit of a picture for us?
Yeah, so I always see your posts, and I'm a huge follower. I love the work that you do.
Thank
And
you.
I was always like a little bit intimidated to reach out because I
Mm.
don't think that my mindset was ready for the work that you do.
What do you mean by not being ready? Because I'm sure a lot of women can relate to that.
Sure. I think that a change comes from within. And as
Mm.
much as I wanted to change, I don't think that I was in the place to say, okay, let's do it. I'm ready for change. I was kind of going through the motions and trying to figure out where I was. And only when I saw your post about the new sexy that got a few spots left and it was starting in a couple of days. And I read a little bit about it and I was just like, I have to do it. Now I'm ready for a change. But before that, I would see your post like, I would love to do a boudoir session. I don't think I was ready. I don't know if I'm ready yet, but
It'll happen one
it's
day.
it'll happen. But when I saw this course, I knew that it was right for me, and that's when I reached out.
What were the struggles that you were experiencing at the time?
So I was postpartum with my third.
Mm.
I was going through some postpartum depression as well.
Mm.
And I think this was the most difficult out of all three of my kids.
Yeah.
Uh, and I was working around the clock. It was just very difficult. And then going right back into work, all those body changes after giving birth, I just found myself crying a lot, not
Mm.
recognizing who I was in the mirror.
Yeah.
And it was a really bad feeling. I got to a certain point that I was like, either I'm going to sit at home in my bed and cry uncontrollably for days,
Mm.
or I'm going to stop feeling sorry for myself and make a
Yeah.
change.
Yeah. Well, it's really interesting because I feel like, first of all, I'm so sorry that you were going through that. Like, I really, when you described it, I was with you in that feeling because I've been there before. And also, I remember you describing it to me for the first time. You said, like, if you didn't do this, you were going to be in bed. But, like, the thing was, you weren't. Like, you were like super mom, staying at work late, just kind of like being on the autopilot hamster wheel of life and experiencing those struggles. So I feel like it didn't necessarily stop you from living life, but how did it affect all of those like everyday life things that you had to go through and that you were pushing yourself through?
You know, sometimes you can't see your own accomplishments.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
and sometimes like I'm sure even your husband will tell you sometimes, and you're still like, no, no, like
Yeah.
not good enough, right? So
Especially your husband. You're like, I don't believe you. Like, you're biased.
yeah, exactly. So maybe to the outside world, it seemed like I was still doing everything. I was putting on makeup and getting dressed and heels and going to work. But for me on the inside, I was like barely making it. I just felt like this gray cloud in my mind and over me at all times of the day. And it was really difficult. It's hard to see everything you're doing when you're living on autopilot, like you're just trying to survive. So
Yeah.
for me, I wasn't living life well.
Yeah.
But good
And
for
from the
you, I guess, to the
outside,
outside.
and from the outside, no one would have really seen that. It's like you're a boss bitch, running your business, having your three kids, looking amazing, dressing well. It's not, I think that's what people think of when they think of struggling with your body image. They think I'm in bed and I'm not doing anything. Well, actually, most women, they have this internal battle. It doesn't seem to affect the way that they do things, but it does because it affects the way that you show up.
Yeah, I think it's a huge stigma, especially in like specific neighborhoods, of like the fact that women are supposed to go back to work before they can even have sex after having a baby is crazy.
That's
It's
insane.
it's crazy. And the fact that we're just supposed to bounce back and just
Right.
handle
It's
another
not
one.
just
And
our bodies, but it's like everything. Bounce back, just like push forward, get through this.
yeah, you still have dinners to make and you still have laundry to do and you still have work and you still have bills. Like nothing stops. You're just supposed to be like, okay, cool. Like I just went through
Right.
9 months of trauma. Let's
Yeah.
do this.
And then you're supposed to be like thin and happy and beautiful as you do it. That's what society says. That's
Yeah.
really fucked up. Do you remember initially what you were hoping to gain from it?
Yeah, I was hoping to feel sexy again.
That's it.
Just
That's
simple.
it.
I was just hoping to feel sexy again, to meet some other women who are going through similar struggles that I
Yeah.
can relate to and share my struggles and my wins with. Have like a safe support group and just feel sexy.
That's amazing. Yeah, I also remember there was like a feeling of like, on one hand, kind of wanting to feel like yourself again, but on the other hand, kind of wanting to create yourself. Like it wasn't like, oh, I just want to go back. It's like, I want to design this life that really feels good and fulfilling for me.
Yeah, I think around maybe like 8 years ago, if you would have asked me, I would have been like, oh, I want to go back to how I looked then and I want to go back to who I was then. But if you really stop and see everything that you've been through for the past couple of years, like I can say for the past decade that I've been working in this industry, like I'm a completely different person. I wouldn't want to go back to the person that I was. I want to recreate myself with everything and all the knowledge that I know now.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I definitely do not want to go back to my early 20s or my definitely not teenage. Like, no, no way. I totally get that. What were your fears initially, like when we first spoke? I think it was really cool because it really was last minute, a couple of days before we started, and you're like, all right, let's go. I'm gonna just do this. But I guess for those, couple hours, what were the fears that you were having?
I think I was a little bit nervous of investing in something that I wasn't sure if I would stick with. And it wasn't necessarily the money that bothered me. It was like the personal investment. Like, am I going to make this personal investment in myself? Or am I just going to lie to myself again and say, yes, I'm going to do this and we're going to feel better and,
Mm,
all that crap.
right. Like
So
that it would just be another thing that you paid for, but you didn't immerse yourself in, or that like the fear was that you wouldn't do the work.
the fear was that the new sexy was just going to be another email in my inbox.
I know that feeling. I know that feeling. Yeah.
So that was the fear. It was like, I'm making this investment. And for me, I know you guys met like in Israel, it was like 8 p.m. Here it was during the day. So
Right.
for
On a
me,
Sunday, which is like a big
on
deal for you.
Sundays. So Sundays are like my day with my kids. So I was making that investment. Okay, I have to be organized. I have to make my kids understand that this is for me, whether I find a babysitter or not. Like this is time that I have to take out of, my schedule. So,
Yeah.
but we did it.
Yeah, we did do it. Oh my gosh. Wow. That is totally legitimate. Like I can totally imagine having those same fears. When did those fears start to dissipate? Like, was it when you made the decision, or was it when you started, or when you started seeing like changes in yourself?
When I made the decision to move forward, I felt excited, but the actual fear, I think, relaxed after that first meeting
Mm.
when like my kids were quiet in the background and was able to meet with you guys and I saw the other women that were in the group and I think at the end of the day, like everybody's kind of in that same place. And the other women, I mean, most of you guys were like single momming it at the time. I don't know
All
if you
right,
still
with
are,
the with
but
Miloim.
yeah. So that was for me when I saw that, I was like, all right, I got nothing to apologize for. Like nothing,
Like no
nothing to be,
excuse. Like I'm
no
here.
excuses. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow. A lot of times I tell people that, it's not helpful to make that comparison. Like everyone has their own struggles. Everyone has a thing that they're going through. And then at the same time, sometimes it's nice to just have like a little kick in the tush. Like, all right, these women are doing it. I'm on board too. And if you do it with kindness and love, like the best.
yeah, and it was definitely not good to make that comparison. And after a few meetings in, when we were talking about all the different things in the course, I understood that that was not it. But
Yeah.
still, like living in Israel for the 9 years that I did and understanding everything that was going on, for me, it was amazing that everybody continued to show up.
Yeah. Yeah. It really was. But also really amazing that you continue to show up.
Yes, yes, yes. Amazing that I showed up as
Uh,
well.
yes, let's like give ourselves credit here. So, was there something that surprised you as you started to go through the course?
Yeah, you had mentioned how you said you're not going to believe how easy it is. I do not believe you.
Oh,
But it's very easy. Even from that first self-awareness and intuition module, just like the drinking the water and the 15 minutes of movement, it's this kindness that you're giving to yourself that I was giving to myself that I hadn't had in a very long time.
mhm.
And just that time of self-awareness, like, hey, I'm doing this for myself, made a huge difference. It made a huge impact in my
Right,
day-to-day.
right.
So
So it's like
the
even those like little things that you just were offered a framework for and like held accountable for made a big difference right away. And so when you say that it was easy, can you describe what was easy about it? Was it the fact that small changes made a shift in your mindset? Like, what was that shift?
It's funny. I don't think that they were small changes because the work that we put in, the work that I put in, was real. It was real. It was
Yeah.
raw. It was genuine. But
Right.
when I say easy, I think it was just these small little shifts
Right.
that I was able to do in my day to day, just add in. It wasn't like, okay, stop and food prep. Like, no, I don't freaking have time for that. It
Right.
was like, hey, just drink some water and just move for 15 minutes.
Well,
And I was like, oh, like, what's going on? Hold on,
yeah.
I could think a little bit clearer. I could sleep a little bit better. It was just these small changes. That
Yeah.
was my perspective on it.
That's so beautiful. And then I feel like it just opens this dialogue with yourself. I think that's a huge thing where we're not in touch with our bodies or what we need or what we want. And then we're starting to ask ourselves, okay, what do I need right now? Okay, I need water, I need this, I need that. It's just something that we forget about doing or we were never taught to do.
Yeah, I remember you said something in the course. You had said something about like, what does my body need? Ask yourself what your body needs. Do you need to go to the bathroom? Do you need to sit on the couch? Whatever it is. I remember that when I first started my business, which is going to sound so fucked up. When I first started my business, it would be like, whoa, I didn't go to the bathroom for 7 hours because I've been sitting at my computer. Oh my God.
It was
And
like
that
a
was
badge
like
of
an
honor, kind of.
accomplishment. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God.
And so now I'm like, if someone asks me to do something or someone needs something from me, if I have to go to the bathroom, I'm like, okay, guys, hold on 1 second. just I'll be back in like 30 seconds. Just let me
Right.
pee and I'll be right back.
Right. I think
So
people think that loving kindness to your body is like standing in front of a mirror and saying affirmations all day long. But literally, it could just be going to the bathroom when you need to go to the bathroom. Like, that is the most loving thing you could do.
it's insane. I like turned off some of my cues. So now I really like I have to think about it. I'm still working on it, like trying to like retrain
Yeah.
my brain. Okay, I have to go to the bathroom. Okay, hold on. Let's go to the bathroom and then we can come back. But
Yeah.
but it was really these small shifts. And then I was creating more space in my brain because I was a little bit calmer and because I could sleep better and because I didn't have all of the same mental block that I had. I was able to ask myself, okay, do we have time to like put on cream after the shower? Okay, great.
Mm,
Another 3 minutes? Awesome. I could do that. I could spare 3 minutes. Do I have time to light a candle before the shower? Yeah, let's go grab a match. So little things that I was able
mm,
to add throughout my day that opened up a world of difference. I was giving myself
yeah.
self-care.
And like when you said the candle, it's like, ooh, sexiness, bringing in that romance to yourself in your own life so that you can actually have that feeling of being sexy and bring that into mundane things.
Exactly. And I was reading something and it said like start a love affair with yourself. But it was so beautiful and it makes me really think about it because everyone thinks like a love affair like scandalous and it's like like
Yeah.
start a love affair with yourself. Like
Yeah.
it's so true. Love the person that you are. Love the things that you do. Bring in
Mhm.
some romance. Put on some
Yeah.
sexy music. Do something good for yourself that's gonna make you
Totally.
smile.
Totally. Just today, I was like buying gifts for my clients at this lingerie store. And I was like, oh, this feels so soft and so nice. And I was like, is a business expense. I'm gonna buy these for my clients and then leave. And then I was like, why am I giving this to myself? To just to enjoy and to feel sexy. Like, no, I don't need a, sexy pair of pajamas, but that is the kind of life I want to have. That is the kind of person that I want to embody, that I am present in my body and enjoying life. And it's hard because we have all the messages from our childhood and trauma we've experienced. And I think it's an ongoing practice.
1,000%. It's an ongoing practice. It's not something that you can fix and be like, okay, great. I flipped a
I'm
switch. I'm good.
I'm fixed. I'm healed. Oh my God. No way. Yeah. What are some of your favorite either wins or significant shifts that you made in the program?
So this was huge for me. I think I was walking to get my birth certificate for my daughter. And I looked at like it was like huge glass walls. It was like a big building. And I saw my reflection in the mirror. And I was like, damn, I love my sexy legs.
I remember that. So
Yeah,
fucking amazing.
that
It
was
seems
huge
like
for
it seems
me.
like such a simple thing, and it's so not. It's like huge.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah,
wow.
that was really huge for me. That was really changing that I was able to say that. Not even just to like think it, but to say it out loud.
Yeah. Wow. So cool. What is your experience like now when you walk past a mirror?
Like we said, it's an ongoing process.
Yeah.
I definitely have my wins. I think that the course also helped me in other ways. So when I'm getting dressed to feel good. So I'm not just I told you I wake up like 5:15, 5:30. I spend a few minutes with myself, like it's
Yeah.
quiet in my house before the chaos
I'm so
starts.
honored that I get to be a part of this time.
Not many people I'd let in.
I know. Wow.
But I get this time for myself, and so I can put on makeup, I can listen to music. If I want, I can watch a show, whatever it is that I feel like I want to do for myself. But
You were
going back
not doing
to
that. I remember talking to you in the beginning. That was not something that you felt comfortable giving to yourself because you just felt like you had so much to do, which I really relate to as a business owner as well. It's like an hour for myself. Like that's that's huge.
it's unheard of, and some days I'm more tired than others, but I think that Work's gonna be there tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember something significant with your kids or with your daughter specifically. Did you have something significant that happened there in terms of either talking to your kids about bodies or passing on this kind of mindset to them?
Yeah. During the course, it's interesting because I feel that life is just one huge circle. I think that when you're going through something or you're learning something, you're expanding your mind to something, your circle around you, everybody feels it.
Yeah.
So at the time, my daughter, 5 years old, she came home from like a tumbling class and she told me that one of the girls called her fat. Like, I
Mm.
literally pressed on the brakes.
Oh, yeah.
I looked at her and
Oh, like
they
actual
worked.
brakes in the car. Oh my God.
Yeah, I stepped on the brakes in the
Stopped.
car and I looked at her and I was like, what? I was not ready for that. I was like, I thought I had a few more years before that, we started that crap.
Yeah.
And she goes, yeah, someone called me fat. So my mind was like going through a million things. And at the same time, I wanted to get out of the car, go back to that tumbling class and like strangle that little girl. And
I feel you. I feel you.
I stopped and I looked at her and I said, do you know what fat is? And she goes, well, yeah, it's like being fat. So I said, okay, well, why don't you tell me what she said? So she said, well, she told me I was too fat for acro. That's the name of the class I do. Too fat for
Mm,
acro. So I asked her, I said, do you think that? And she goes, no. And I said, okay. And at the time, I didn't really know how to react. And this girl had been like bullying her a little bit, and it happened again. So the next time it happened, I prepared myself a little bit more
yeah.
and I
During
spoke
the
to
this is
her.
during the program.
Yeah. So I think I told her, okay, like, let's take a deep breath. I told her that Hashem loves us for
It's
who we
something about like
are.
Hashem like making all of our bodies so different and unique, and that's what makes us beautiful. Something like
Yes,
that,
I
right?
can't remember that, but it was something like that. Like we work on like telling her like Hashem makes everybody's body different. Hashem loves you. He creates you the way that he wants to, and it's okay that everybody's body looks different.
Yeah.
And we can love our bodies. We work on a lot of like self-positive body image in the house. And we can love our bodies no matter what we look like. And I asked her if she loved her body and she said yes. And then we
Mm.
did some breathing. We did like some breathing techniques of just like breathing in and out and like accepting. And that was it. And since then, instead of being upset at that little girl, I actually called her mom and I spoke to her, and her mom was so thankful that I called uh,
Oh,
and told me that, they work on body positivity at home also. And
wow.
I told her, I said, like, and I explained to her the course that I was doing. And we got the girls together for like a few intimate play dates, just them
Oh my
two.
gosh.
And they've been really good
Wow.
friends since.
Oh my God, that is amazing. I remember when you first told me the process that you went through, and I was so in awe because I feel like that is a lot of the work that we do is first of all changing the way that we see even the word fat or like what it means when someone says that, really understanding the deeper parts of it versus just reacting to our own triggers. Because for me, that happened when I was 5 years old. So like I'm right with your daughter, like I totally feel it. And so I was just really so in awe. And I thought to myself, wow, what if I had a mom that did that for me when I was 5? That's amazing. And then not only did you do that, but you took it a step further and you completed the healing. You talked to the mom, and not saying that would have always been the outcome. We can't control the outcome, but the fact that you opened up a space for there to be even more healing, not just with her, but with another girl, that just makes a world of difference. There's so much strength that I feel like she's going to take from that for years to come.
It's also one more thing that I've been doing, and I'm gonna admit this, and it's gonna
Yes, I
be
love
it's
this.
it's
I
gonna
love
sound a little
this. Tell
bit.
me everything.
So before the course, the sizes that I was buying her was like for her size. It was like for her age. Okay, for her
Yeah.
age. It was like 6X,
She's
six
6. I'm going to get a 6.
small. Yeah. And I noticed like she said to me, Mommy, all my shirts are short on me.
Mm.
So I said, okay, I have to stop being scared. So I bought her, I know it sounds so fucked up, like scared to buy like a different size. But I
Oh,
started
that's
buying her a larger
understandable.
size. I started buying her like 7, 8, and she's so much more comfortable. And she's so happy in her clothes. And I'm like, great. I'm like, awesome. Why was I holding out? Like, why do we do this? And I did the same thing for myself, by the way. After the course, I bought clothes in the larger size, and I was like, fuck it. I'm not gonna be scared anymore. I'm gonna buy clothes to feel good in clothes. And I
Oh
did.
my God. I literally have the chills all over my body. That is just the most incredible thing ever. I feel like a lot of people will say, like, I want to lose weight. I want to change my body so I can feel good in clothing. And I'm like, why can't you? Right now, it's like we have this block. And it's not easy to just switch it one day, but you did the inner work. You went through this course and shifted your mindset, and you were able to literally give yourself the permission to feel good now and be comfortable in your clothing. I feel like we do the opposite. It's like a punishment to ourselves. Do you relate to that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a punishment. Like I'm buying clothes that are too small that aren't gonna fit me anyways. Why? For what?
Okay.
Right? So if I need to buy a bigger size or go to like the plus size, like who gives a shit? It's just a number. It's just clock. That's all it is. I'm not.
Yes. Amen. Oh my God. That's incredible. Thank you for sharing that with me. I'm so glad that we had this
Yeah.
conversation just for like you and for me to like, you know, get to celebrate with you.
I think consciously I've been like doing these things,
Yeah.
but I don't think I've like stopped to actually say it out loud and understand it. So for me, this conversation is really cool because now I'm like, oh, like I did
Oh
do that.
yeah, I
I did
did
that. It was
that.
great.
Going back to what you said in the beginning, like giving ourselves that credit and acknowledgement, it's huge.
Yeah.
Can you speak a little bit to people's fears about being in a group of women? What was that like for you?
So I think that Zoom takes away some of maybe like the anticipation of being in a group of women because you're not sitting in a group. You're not like face to
Right.
face with like all these women in
It's
like
not quite as scary.
yeah, it's really not scary and I think everybody goes at their own pace. Like at the beginning, I think there were a few women that kept their videos off and only participated when they wanted to. And towards the end, they felt a lot more comfortable. But I think the important thing to know is that everybody goes at their own pace and that's accepted.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like a very compassionate concept to have for the group and for ourselves in general in life, not just in the course. Do you feel that having other women in the course benefited you, like helped you progress more on your journey?
Yes, I do. I think that hearing other people's stories sometimes put things in perspective.
Yeah.
And there's a certain, I want to put this in the right words. I think there's a certain acceptance that everybody's going through a hard time right now.
Yeah.
And what you have to share, it's like arms are open. Everybody's
Mhm.
listening.
So when we first started this conversation, you mentioned that you were on autopilot and you painted the picture of what your day was kind of like. You were doing all the things, but internally you were struggling and you did not feel like yourself or going in the direction that you wanted to go in. How did your day to day change?
Okay, so I'm always drinking water, which I wasn't always
Dan,
doing. Yeah. There's still certain aspects of me that live on autopilot,
of
but
course.
a huge difference is I'm able to differentiate. So I'm able to make that decision on Friday afternoon when I come home before Shabbat.
Mhm.
My work is done and I'm present. I'm present with my kids. I'm present with my family. I'm present with my house, and nothing else matters.
As a business owner, I just know what a big deal that is because it's so hard to turn your brain off for something that you're responsible for. And you could be thinking about it 24/7.
I could, 100%, but I'm at a point where, first of all, let's go backwards for a second. The notebook and that whole amazing gift set that you send
Mm.
out with the course, I got it after the course.
Right, because of
For me,
the
yeah,
postal office or whatever. Yeah.
For me, I think, yeah, no, it had nothing to do. But for me, I think that that was amazing because I finished the course and all of a sudden I got this box of like amazing things to celebrate myself with.
Oh,
And it was like everything happens for a reason. And since then, actually, I had the notebook. Everything before that I was doing like through notes and on my computer. And now I have the notebook. So
God.
I actually started going through the notebook and like kind of redoing the course
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. That's
to
what it's
kind of like
for.
just, and actually last night I signed in to the course and I watched the video of like the self-awareness and intuition and I like,
Amazing.
you know, yeah, and it's so nice to know that like it's been sitting on my desk. Like sometimes it sits on my desk for like a couple weeks, but then I can just open it and like to a random page and like do some writing and like some journaling and I'm like, oh, okay.
Wow. So you
So
really like, you have a toolbox in your mind that you've created, but you also have a toolbox and something that you can actually go to when either you're struggling or you just want to do some more inner work. That's really special. It's really valuable.
it's very valuable. It's amazing. Like the whole like you can tell that everything that you put into it has been built up and thoughts and changes. It's not just something that you just put together and like, yeah, let's do it. So
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 true.
you can tell. So my mindset has shifted and when I catch myself in these circles of like almost depression
Yeah,
and not being able to see myself, I'm able to catch the signal, not always right away, but I'm able to catch it and slow down for a second and practice something that we've learned.
that's incredible. It's like just returning back to yourself over and over again. And that's really the practice. And when we have those tools, it's just not as hard as we once thought it was. And I love that. Did you love the candle, by the way? I'm like obsessed with those.
I loved it. I loved everything about that box.
Oh,
I have the lavender like rolly at work on my
oh,
desk. Yeah, the soaps are amazing. Like everything about that box is just so thoughtful and amazing and
I really
it's
like was thinking about, okay, like how can we excite all of our five senses, and we have a little worksheet in the course where we go through the five senses, like how do we make an environment for feeling good about ourselves and feeling good about our bodies. And so that's something that I had in mind, the taste and the smell and the touch and like all of that is so, so important. I love that not only with the box, but just seems like in general, you're incorporating more of that, like just enjoyment in your life.
it's amazing. Like it really is. And I think there was one other thing that I really enjoyed about the course. One of my favorite projects was the board that we created.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. I remember you showing it to us. Why was it your favorite? And can you explain to people what it was first?
Yeah. So it was like a future self board.
Yeah.
So I think some people would think like, oh, a couple pictures. Okay, great, I'm done. But I put a lot of thought into it and I created an entire vision board that really is the person that I want to see myself as. So it had clothes and it had sexy pictures and it had badass like boss bitch quotes. There was a picture of a challah and a Shabbat table and like a lion with a Jewish star and
That's so funny.
um
Challah was on my vision board too.
yeah,
We're so
it's
Jewish. I love it.
Jewish moms.
Yeah.
What else did I have? I had pictures of my kids, and it was this board of like, okay, I can do this. Even if my body doesn't look the way the pictures do, I can still wear those same type of clothes. I can still feel the
Mhm.
same way. I can still feel good about myself. And I go back
And
to it
I
every
feel you
once
did
in a
not
while.
believe that at the beginning of the course. You
No,
did not believe that.
no, no. And I think that's something that I took away from the course also is like a person can change their body. If they want to lose weight, great. They can lose weight. But I'm not losing weight to feel good about myself. I'm gonna feel good about myself. And if I
Regardless.
still want to lose weight, great.
It's separate.
It's completely separate. That has nothing to do with feeling good in my mind.
Yeah. Or about who you are as a person or your worth.
Yes.
Okay. Last thing. Someone's like on the fence about doing this. What would you tell them?
I would tell them to wake up, bitch. No, I'm just joking.
That's so nice. Wake up.
I would say the course is worth it. The
Yeah.
course is definitely worth it. If you're ready for a change, you have to like, you said this to me also, like you have to be ready to put some feelings aside.
Mm.
And if you're ready to put those feelings aside, do it.
What
Don't let
was the
anything
feeling
stop
that you
you.
put aside?
Um, that I had to magically lose 100 pounds.
Uh, like, yeah. And
That
self-doubt, I feel like too. Like, am I going to actually do this?
self-doubt for sure. Yeah, I definitely had self-doubt. But speaking to you, you have this certain calm to you. Like when I talk to you, I guess it's like wave of like relief. Like
Oh.
I feel like I can breathe. I can like be who I am. I can let my guard down. And that's when I think that you you bring so much to the course, but something amazing that you bring is your attitude and how you look at life and how you appreciate every single part of everyone. Like you don't take
Mm.
anything for granted about anyone.
Mm. I wasn't prepared for that. Thank you so much, Elisheva.
Very important.
And I'm going to work on receiving it. Thank you.
What you, Rebecca, bring to the course is something that other women don't offer because you not only straighten crowns on all these amazing women's head, you bring the fucking crowns and you
Mm.
place it on their head.
Mm.
And that's what you do for the course. And
Mm.
it's incredible. So I want to say to every woman, like, it's 1,000% worth it. I would do it again.
And
I
like,
would
I want to
so much
like add
again.
to that, like, you're worth it. Like the course is worth it, but because you're worth it. Does that make sense? And I feel like it's it's not like we walk around thinking I'm not deserving or I'm not worthy. It's like under our consciousness that that is kind of like the feeling that we have, that we don't give ourselves permission to feel good, to feel sexy, to feel joy. And yeah, I just think like it's not necessarily helpful to be like you're worth it, like to tell yourself those affirmations. But I think that's kind of what you realize through the course. If I'm not getting you wrong, like what you're trying to say, like you get to see your worth and now you are prioritizing yourself. Does that resonate?
Yeah, 1,000%. I want to tell other women to take that jump and understand, yes, exactly that they're worth it, that it's
Mm.
okay to invest in yourself.
Yeah.
It's healthy to invest in yourself. It'll make your family happier. It'll make you happier. It'll
Mm.
make the world around you seem a little bit more sunny, like for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
Like, don't hesitate.
Right. Oh my God. First of all, thank you for sharing all of that. That just like makes me so happy. And I so agree with you because you're telling me like, oh, that I see the beauty in everyone and I put the crown on their head. And it's like, I was only able to do that because of the work that I did within myself. And the fact that I was able to recognize my own worth and my own beauty, inner and outer beauty. And if I didn't do that, then I really wouldn't be able to provide the space that I do. And then I also have this advantage now of like walking around the world and being like, oh my God, everyone's so beautiful. Like
Oh,
everything is so good. People think like, oh, I'm supposed to change the way I think about bodies for other people so that they feel good. But it's for us because we get to walk around the world and just feel like everything, like you said, is a little bit brighter.
It's really nice to live life and be a little bit happier during the day. Like,
Yeah.
don't have to punish
Right.
ourselves.
Yeah. It doesn't, and I think that you were really real to share that there's still challenges. There's still ebbs and flows. I'm not into any of that toxic positivity. I wouldn't even like describe myself as like, a positive person. Yeah. It's something that it's a practice that we have to implement. And I think that I just love the message that you gave today that, there's so many beautiful gems in here. And I know that so many women are going to relate to it. And I'm so grateful for you. And I'm grateful we had this conversation and I got to hear even more about what it was like for you to go through it and where you are now.
I'm so honored that you asked me to be part of it. Like being part of this journey and sharing it with you was amazing. And one more thing I just want to add really quick is that like I sit with a lot of girlfriends and I hear their crap and they hear my crap and we
Yeah.
complain about life. But when you hear our struggles in the group, I saw you tearing up. You would sit there and you would internalize it and feel other people's struggles. And that's not something that you get from like a friend. So that was huge. But I'm so grateful that I got to be part of this journey with you and with the other women in the group. Like it was an amazing group of women. Everyone had so much to bring, and it was during a crazy time.
Crazy fucking time.
Yeah.
Like literally so crazy. I every time we came to the calls, I was like, oh my gosh, can't believe we're all here. We really showed up for ourselves. And even just that in itself is everything.
Well, thank you.
Thank you
I'm
so
super
much.
grateful.
Me too.